And I think all of us have to recognize the ways in which love and respect are not reducible to politics. That you can revel in somebody's humanity even when he's wrong sometimes. Oh, yeah. No, indeed, and you can learn from somebody you have agreement with. But most importantly, that my dear brother has enriched my life in a magnificent way. Not just intellectually, but morally, spiritually. My beloved daughter, Zaytun, is in many ways a niece, and he's an uncle. And I could go on and on and on. But I think given where we are now in the culture, it's really going to be more and more a question of, will we muster the courage to think for ourselves, to hope for ourselves, and to love for ourselves? You see, we should never ask anybody for permission as to who you love, or ask people permission as to what you think, or ask people permission for what you hope for. You see, I come from a people hated for 400 years and taught the world so much about love. And you can't love unless you're free. You can't be free unless you're willing to be courageous and take a risk and be vulnerable. But go to the edge of life's abyss and then decide who you are, which is to say, what we try to do, find our voices. That's why I start with jazz. You can't be a jazz woman. Like we just lost one, Nancy Wilson. Unless you find your voice. But we live in a culture with too many echo chambers. Copy this, conform to this, adjust to this, accommodate to that. Where are the originals? Not the copies, but the real things, who think for themselves and love for themselves and hope for themselves. Now, we know you can't do that without tradition. Traditions are inescapable and unavoidable, but traditions are something that you both must recover, and you must recover from. We can just let that sit for a while. Oh, yeah.
We're done.
Oh, I know, we at Washington University. Spirit T.S. Eliot and his grandfather up here.
Right.
Yeah, William Greenleaf. Eliot, that's for real. But most importantly, it's about trying to come together at the deepest human level, that Latin humando, which means burial. We're beings on the way to burial. Will we have the courage to think, to love, to laugh, to connect the way in which we decide to do it, based on integrity, honesty, decency, and generosity? It's one of the greatest achievements in life is to be a person of integrity. And I come from the prophetic legacy of Jerusalem. So I'm not that impressed by Alexander the Great. My conception of greatness was he or she who was willing to serve, sacrifice, try to empower and enable others to begin full and end up empty because you've emptied yourself with your cultivated gifts to make others and the world better than what you found it. Now that sounds so simplistic, but it is profoundly subversive in our historical moment. And it never, ever, ever goes out of fashion. Truth, beauty, goodness, love, justice, integrity, no matter what the fads of fashion, those never go out of fashion. And if we can't recover those, then we slide down a slippery slope to chaos. But all the polarization, all the balkanization, all the hatred and contempt and envy and resentment and so forth and so on. How do we push it back? Brother Robbie and I, just out of both love and friendship, decided, let's take this on the road. We've been to chocolate sides of Dallas with Erykah Badu's kids.
That's right.
In her school, you see. We've been on vanilla sides of town, sometimes in very high places with big money, Same challenge. Integrity, honesty, decency. What kind of human being you're going to be before the worms get your body.